Hello, this is Toni Morris for Toni Time. Today our show is going to be a little bit different. We're usually in a studio, but today we're on location. We're at a house in Fayetteville, and we have our host. She's hosting a house party today, and her name is?
Quilly Brown.
Okay, and tell me, why are you hosting this house party today?
I have to keep women energized and roused up to re-elect Barack Obama.
All right. If you want to host a house party, get with your local OFA office and let them know you want to host it. Get women involved. Let's get out the vote. Let's do what we need to do for 2012. Again, my name is Toni Morris, host of Toni Time. So now let's get ready to go inside and let's see what's going on inside of this house party. I just drove in from Greensboro. I've been there at a Licensed Professional Counsel Association conference all weekend. I got up this morning. When I left, we was hearing from our legislative updates of how things are going to affect us as counselors, small business people in our communities. So I was doing that before I came here, and I drove straight from Greensboro to this house. Okay, so bear with me a little bit, okay? I know a lot of faces here, and it's great to see this enthusiasm, this turnout. I am really, really loving this. This is our time, ladies. This is our time for us to step up and show that we, as women, can make things happen. Yes, we have been beat down in the media. Yes, we have been beat down everywhere we look. But we don't give up. That's not in our nature. We don't give up. We keep fighting. We are there. If we don't step up, then who will? So I stepped up. I felt it was my job. God has blessed me with the talents, the ability, and the skills to do this job. And I'm not going to let those talents go to waste because I don't want God to take the talents away from me that He gave me. Okay? Trainings here in Cumberland County, and there are people from the labor union, there are people from lawyers, there are teachers, there are women from Obama. There's a whole group of us that train who will be at the polling sites. Okay? Because we want to make sure everybody has the right to vote. County jail or whatever county you live in, and they have not been convicted of anything, they can vote. They're sitting in jail waiting for a trial, they can vote. Okay? So please make sure if you know people like that and they say, well, my son is in jail, he's 20 years old, no, he's not had a trial yet, find out how to get him to the polls so he can vote. Let me hear it. President. All right. Because we are Democratic women, right?
Yes.
That is our primary person, am I correct?
Yes.
Because again, if we don't have a person in the White House that's going to represent us as people, we are not going to go forward, are we?
No.
And what's our job? Our job is to do what? Go forward. That's what President Barack Obama is about. And I say we need to back him up. We definitely need to have his back.
Yes.
It is our time now to show him. He has been beat down for 4 years. Let us not forget. We want 100% of our budget cuts, or we're going to shut down the government. Let us not forget. Jobs bill, dead on arrival. Haven't looked at it, haven't touched at it. Haven't did anything with it. Still sitting there. Let's look at, we're not going to raise the debt ceiling, which hurt our credit rating. President Obama didn't do that. Who did that? Come on, talk to me. But we don't hear about that now. Nobody's talking about what Congress did. They all want to lay that on President Obama. Like he did all of this by himself. He's been fighting and fighting and fighting. He had to fight for unemployment insurance. When the Republicans said no, we're going to cut it off and people would lose money, he said yes. But again, that gave him a little bit of an edge because then they kept that tax break for the rich. But he had to give in and make sure those who couldn't afford things could keep the money they had worked for. That's what he did. That's the president that is now running for office. We can't forget what's been happening over the past 3 years because of all the negativity we hear. That is not what we do. We have got to remember. We have got to go out and as we're talking to people and they say to you, I'm not going to vote. You might want to remind them of what he went through, how he fought, how he continues to fight. This is what people need to know, because sometimes we have short-term memory problems. Obama re-elected. Are we all sitting here with Miss Shipman, and I want her to tell you how long she's been in this fight and why she is still in this fight. Miss Shipman.
I am Doris Ann Shipman, and you know me from the NAACP, but I have been in the fight for over 40 or 50 years working with the Democratic Party and to uphold the morals and values that we stand for. And President Obama stands for all of the things that we want to see continue to go on in America. We have our local officials, we want to make sure that they stay on track also. So we have to learn about our candidates and know what is going on so that we can vote intelligently and that we can speak to other people intelligently about what is going on with the facts. A lot of times people get facts and opinions mixed up, but we want to deal with the facts as President Obama is dealing with the facts. This is what we want to do.
What is it about President Obama and what makes you want to support President Obama?
I want to support President Obama because he is a man, not just his color, but he is the president, as we say, for all people. He represents all people, and I want to support him because of that, and that he represents us, and that we need to support him because, as I said, he is the president for all people, regardless of what your stand in life is. He has an understanding of what you are all about and what we need to do. He comes from the grassroots. He knows everybody, and he doesn't speak a lot about things. He's a deep thinker, and he goes along with the facts, not with what you think he should say, but what he knows has been researched and that it is a fact.
If you had to tell people one thing, what is the one thing you want them to know about this election?
I want to know that this is a very, very important election because it will determine what goes on for generations to come. As it says that he will be appointing people, the next president will be appointing people to the Supreme Court. And that is where a lot of decisions are made, and that will affect all of our people. So this is a very, very important election. And being a senior citizen, I am concerned about Medicare and health care for all of our people, for our young people, for our children. And people need to know that if we don't get out there and do these things, that no one would have jobs. And if I try to keep you down, I'm keeping myself down. You know, you heard a long time ago, if you stand on top of somebody to keep them from moving, you can't move. So we have to keep President Obama moving so that we will be able to move also.
Okay. What would you say to people who said they're not going to vote? Since you've been in this race for a long time, what do you want to tell people who are thinking about not voting?
I want to say how hard it was for all of our people to be able to vote. And it is very, very important that you don't have a voice if you don't vote. This is the one thing that you have a voice with, that you can vote. I remember the first time I got to vote, I was doing my student teaching in Shelby, North Carolina, my hometown. And when I left school that day, I was 21 years old. I walked to the courthouse to make sure that I could register and vote. And I have voted in every election. I don't care if it was a dog catcher. I have voted in every election since that time because my father was very heavy into politics, and he embedded that in us, and I just want to keep up and follow that lead to be able to vote.
Outstanding. Thank you, Ms. Shipman. We heard it from her. She's been voting for a while. Now it's your time. Let's get out and vote. You've heard why we need to vote for President Obama. Let's do our job. Let's get out and vote. This is Our Time 2012. Thank you again for tuning in, and this is Toni Morris from Toni Time. And today I'm here speaking with a new voter. Let me get her to introduce herself to you at this time. Hi, what's your name?
Candace Collins.
Candace. And who do you have with you? Who's that standing?
This is my mother.
I'm Sandra Waters Collins.
Okay, great. Can you tell me, I heard first-time voter? Tell me why you voted.
Well, I think it's really important for teens to get out there and vote. It affects us the most, especially because we're the future. So if we know like what we're voting for, what's out there, who's, making a difference, we need to, get out there and make a difference, and understand who we're voting for and, how it affects us, things like that.
You're a college student? What school do you go to?
I go to school at North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University.
And your major is?
Chemical engineering.
Chemical engineering. Do I know this? Is there a cry like Aggie Pride? And can I hear it?
Which one? Which one? Okay. AGGIE. What? PRIDE. What? Give me that. Give me that. Give me that. Give me that.
This is what we're talking about, college students getting out to vote. We want to thank you and your mother for taking time to talk with us today. Again, college students, you got your example here. Let's get out to vote. Again, this is Toni Morris from Toni Time. Thank you very much. All right, we're here with Women for Obama. We just had a House meeting. Everybody's fired up and ready to go. Let's talk and see what they thought about this meeting. I'm going to start over here. Introduce yourself and tell them what you thought about this House meeting today.
Okay, my name is Tyra Harrison. I thought this meeting was absolutely fabulous. I feel energized. I'm fired up. I'm ready to go. Let's go team.
All right, yes, next. And this is our host, for those who didn't know. She hosted this house party, so we're so proud of her. Let's see what she has to say.
I knew I had to do something to help get women fired up and energized to re-elect Barack Obama, our next president of the United States.
Yes, okay.
Hello. Hi, my name is Iris Hunter, and I'm co-chair for Women for Obama. This meeting today was energized. It was so informative, and we thank the host for having it, and we are fired up and ready to go to re-elect President Obama for 2012.
Woo! All right.
My name is Margaret King, and this was a very, very informative meeting. We've learned a lot, so many women, and we are ready to elect President Obama again.
Yeah. Woo! As you can see, we have still a lot of women here, and we are so proud that they came out. This is the energy that we need. This is the energy that is now showing up. So we have a lot of work to do, and as you can see, we have some strong women here. They got their shirts on. They're ready to go. They are fired up. And if you're fired up, going out to vote. If you're fired up, take somebody out to vote. If you're fired up, let somebody know why we need to go and re-elect President Obama. This is why we are here. It's to get people out. This is your time. This is your time. Let's show President Obama who we are. We've got your back.
I wasn't around for, the battles that my grandmother and my mother fought in the 60s and 70s. I wasn't around to fight for maternity leave and equal pay and, even things like the 19th Amendment. I've always taken things like that for granted. I've lived my entire life in North Carolina having these rights and never really gave it a second thought until now. It's 2011 and it seems like the Republican leadership has just been rolling back women's rights in the General Assembly. We're angry, we're a little shocked, but we are turning that anger into action. And we're not afraid to fight the women's movement all over again.
Lillian Exum Clement was a real heroine for me. She was a real role model. She was a difference maker.
Lillian Exum Clement was the first woman legislator before women could vote.
A woman who ran her own business in the 1920s at a time when women were not supposed to do anything of the sort. And she blazed the trail. So since 1920, we've been doing this work on women's rights, work on ERA, work on getting women the right to vote.